Hello, my friends. Today, another proof has emerged showing that Russia is lying about not striking a children's hospital. Peskov claimed that it was a Ukrainian missile trying to intercept their missile, and so on.
Как Россия может продолжать утверждать, что у специальной военной операции не имеется гражданских целей?
Я призываю вас руководствоваться заявлением Министерства обороны Российской Федерации, которое абсолютно исключает, что имели место удары по каким-то гражданским целям, в котором указано, что речь идет о падении антиракет.
However, to intercept as many missiles as possible, Biden announced the transfer of even more Patriot systems.
Today, I'm announcing the historic donation of air defense equipment for Ukraine. The United States, Germany, the Netherlands, Romania, and Italy will provide Ukraine with the equipment for 5 additional strategic air defense systems. And in the coming months, the United States and our partners intend to provide Ukraine with dozens of additional tactical air defense systems.
Meanwhile, due to the close partnership between India and Russia, Matthew Miller made a statement.
And we would urge India, as we do any country when it engages with Russia, to make clear that any resolution to the conflict in Ukraine needs to be one that respects the UN Charter, that respects Ukraine's territorial integrity, Ukraine's sovereignty. And, India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in a full and frank dialogue, and that includes on our concerns about the relationship with Russia.
But the war continues, and now let's briefly review the situation along the front lines, starting with the Kharkiv direction. Here the occupiers continue their attempts to break through to the settlement of Liptsi, but the Ukrainian armed forces report that they are continuing counterattacks in Gleboke. Fighting also continues in Vovchansk, with the occupiers not ceasing their attacks on Staritsa. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian forces report that in Vovchansk, the Russians have once again begun to turn the situation in their favor. As evident, the battle remains very active. There are no significant advances so far, with the fights being over tens and hundreds of meters, making the situation very difficult. Meanwhile, the shelling continues relentlessly in maximum amounts. In the direction of Svatove, the occupiers continue their attacks on Berestove, but they haven't had no success here. Near Stelmachivka, the attacks have completely stopped. Further south, there are assaults on the villages of Makiivka and Krakivka. Despite continuous attacks, there have been no new changes along the front line. The Ukrainian forces managed to hold the defense. In the Kreminna direction, the situation remains unchanged. The occupiers attempt to break through to Nevsky and Terny, but the Ukrainian forces continue to hold the defense and destroy the advancing Russians. In the Siversk direction, the activity is higher, with ongoing assaults on Bilohorivka, Verkhnyokamensky, Vyimka, and Rozdolivka. The situation is tense, with around 10 assaults per day, and the shelling continues unabated. However, the Ukrainian forces managed to hold the defense, and there have been no changes in the past day. In the direction of Chasiv Yar, the occupiers continue to push further into the city, but the Ukrainian forces are doing everything possible to hold the defense. This is very difficult due to the constant airstrikes on Ukrainian positions. The occupiers are also attempting to bypass Chasiv Yar by assaulting Grigorivka and Andriivka, but no changes have been recorded in the past day. In the direction of Toretsk, the occupiers are not reducing the activity. They continue to break through into Toretsk, with battles ongoing in Pivnichne, Pivdenne, and New York. the Ukrainian forces report that they have started conducting counterattacks and have managed to push back the Russians from some positions. While there are no significant changes along the front line, the fact that the front line has been stopped is already a significant success. According to the latest data, there are 90,000 occupiers in the Toretsk and Pokrovsk directions who have been relentlessly thrown into battle. In the Pokrovsk direction, the occupiers are advancing on a very broad front. They conduct around 50 assaults daily, and the number of shelling has increased significantly. Despite this, the Ukrainian forces are doing everything possible to hold the defense, and so far they have managed to do so with no new changes along the front line in the past day. Near Kharkivka, the situation is challenging. The occupiers are directly assaulting the settlement and attempting to bypass it through the fields. However, here too, the Ukrainian forces are breaking up the advancing groups, keeping the front line unchanged over the past day. In the direction of Kurakhove, the occupiers continue to assault Krasnohorivka. The Ukrainian forces report that this town will likely need to be abandoned soon. If this happens, the occupiers will move towards Kurakhivka, extending the front line closer to new settlements. As a result, Hirnik, Ukrainsk, and Tsukurine will be under threat. The occupiers also continue their assaults on Paraskovivka and Kostantinivka, but there are no new changes there. In the Vuhledar direction, the situation is challenging. In Urozhaine, the occupiers are heavily shelling the area and conducting assaults. So far, the front line remains unchanged, but it's difficult to predict how long this territory can be held. Attacks on Vadiane are also ongoing, but here the Ukrainian forces are successfully repelling the assaults with no new changes reported over the past day. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers are gradually increasing the number of attacks and testing the Ukrainian forces' defenses in various directions. Attempts to break through to Gulay-Pole continue, along with ongoing offensive actions towards Malotokmachka and Novoandriivka. Over the past day, the front line remains unchanged. In the Kherson direction, occupiers continue shelling, and there have been no new assaults on the village of Krynky reported. Russian war correspondents claim that everything is quiet on their side, with no attacks being conducted due to a lack of manpower. Meanwhile, Medvedev stated that even a ceasefire occurs this year, Russia will continue to build up its military potential, as he believes that the continuation of the war is inevitable. But this will not be the end of Russia's military operation. Even if we sign documents and accept defeat, the remaining radicals, after regrouping their forces, will sooner or later return to power, inspired by Russia's Western enemies. And then it will be time to finally crush this vermin, drive a lone steel nail into the coffin lid of the Bandera quasi-state, destroy the remnants of its blood legacy, and return the remaining lands to the bosom of Russian soil. But Russia's enemies will not disappear after this. They will gather strength and wait for a new, convenient pretext to destroy our country. We must be prepared for future battles to defend the fatherland. So it's clear that the illness is progressing and the Kremlin leadership must be removed, otherwise, there will be never peace. Meanwhile, Poland is concerned about the potential loss of Ukrainians who are needed for jobs. Poland is concerned about a possible exodus of Ukrainian men due to the mobilization. Business Insider. There is information in the public domain about possible mass departures of Ukrainians from Poland due to restricted access to consular services. People whose passports have a short validity period will lose the ability to travel and work legally abroad once their documents expire, allowing them to legalize work and stay abroad. Clearly, Poland benefits from having a workforce from Ukraine. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.